lot of health issues going on. I don't know if you guys have seen my Facebook posts or not, but I got a detached retina in my right eye. I'm basically blind in it right now, but just I'm still blessed. I'm still above the dirt. I'm still walking and breathing, and still a Falcon fan. And it's a pleasure to be here with you guys tonight. It's been a while. It's good to be back on the air.
Hey, it is good to have you here tonight, Robert. As of always, it's a pleasure to have Robert here on the podcast. And Robert, your prayers and thoughts are definitely with me and my family to you, sir. Rick, what's going on, man? It's been a minute since Rick's been on the podcast. Busy, Mr. Rick up in the ATL himself. Rick, what's going on, man? It's been a minute.
Man, I wish it was because I was busy. I got the same deal. Fellas, go to the doctor, get some tests and work done, and make sure you're good and healthy. Because I'm telling you, when I hit that 40 number, last 2 years of my life, worst health concerns ever. So I'm battling with some stuff too, but we're going to get through it, man. We're Falcons fans. We fight through everything.
Absolutely.
Rick, it is an honor to have you here tonight talking Falcon football as always, man. Cody, what's going on, man? I know you've been itching to talk Falcon football in chat. If you didn't know it, let me get some happy birthdays in the chat. We got our first ever birthday here with Cody on a live podcast. Cody, happy birthday from my family to yours, brother, and from DFU and the crew. Cody, what's going on, man? Glad to have you here tonight.
Man, I tell you what, you're right. I have been itching to talk Dirty Bird football. This is how, if somebody was to tell me, hey, you get to talk Dirty Bird football on your 35th, and that's all you get to do, because I went to work today, Phyllis, because it was like I told my wife, I was like, birthdays that were special were 18, for obvious reasons, 21 for obvious reasons, 25 because my car insurance went down, and 29 because I was no longer eligible to be drafted. So that's been about it. So, man, just enjoying it. I'm glad to be here. I've been dying to talk Dirty Bird football. Like I've said many times, football's a hell of a drug, and I can't get enough of it, boys. So it's good to be here to talk Dirty Bird football.
Absolutely. We'll start this thing off from the very top. Not Falcon related, but it very well possibly could have been. Breaking news today, Patrick Crosby signs one of the biggest defensive tackle contracts, guaranteed contracts at that. Guys, this guy, Patrick, we talked about it here, him possibly landing in Atlanta, being a trade partner, and then the Raiders say, come here, you ain't going nowhere. You're going to stay here and continue to create havoc for opposing offenses. Phillip, starting with you, man. Crosby off the board. Was that a guy that you looked at and you were like, hey, the Falcons have a chance this year to bring this Patrick Crosby in, to have a dominant sack-leading defense? You possibly get some help on the backside in the draft. Linebacker helped as well. Phillip, Patrick Crosby, was it a big miss for the Falcons not to land that trade value? Was it a thing where the Falcons probably had no leverage at all, being that the Raiders threw such a big contract at Patrick Crosby so early in the offseason?
Yeah, I don't think it was like a huge leverage type of thing. It would have been nice to have him, at least tried to bring him here in Atlanta, because like I've seen a lot of people say here recently that we're just a pass rusher away from being that team in the, postseason or, even further possibility. It would have been nice to have him, but, I just didn't see him coming to Atlanta. I just feel like, that's one of their best players over there in Las Vegas. So, of course, they're going to try to pay their guy, unless just stupid, like every other person, they just drive away from there. But, I didn't really – wasn't like a huge thing, whether that I thought we could have brought him in, but, it was a possibility.
What a nice addition, Phillip, though. Let's admit it. What a nice addition if you grab Patrick Crosby in the offseason. No telling what that trade would have took. Obviously, a first round is possibly out of the door for a guy like Patrick Crosby. Robert, the question rotates to you, brother. Breaking news today, Patrick Crosby is officially re-signed with the Las Vegas Raiders, and not no little contract at that. Robert, your thoughts on the Patrick Crosby breaking news here today?
Well, I'm not surprised. He's definitely the best player the Raiders have got. And, when you think about it, it makes sense to bring him back on that much money. Look at your quarterback.
Hey, hold up. This whole time, and I just seen Rick's comment. This whole time I've been saying Patrick Crosby, people.
I wasn't going to say it.
I've been saying this little vape has got to go in the cabinet. We're going to put that right there, and we're going to talk Falcon football. We're saying Max Crosby, Falcon fans. Max Crosby is who we're talking about here. Appreciate that, Rick. Robert, continue on, man. I had to correct that.
Yeah, look at the quarterback competition in the AFC West. You got Mahomes, you've got Herbert, Bo Nix is coming into his own. I mean, that it made sense for the Raiders to do that. And in all honesty, I don't think that was anything that the Falcons really, had any. I'm sure they had interest, but not to the point where they were going to give up major draft capital for him. And, would it have been nice? Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I made the trade with him on my Madden franchise, and, he just, yeah, he's just a game changer, and it would have been nice to see him in black and red. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's going to be more pass rusher options for us out there, come draft day or, free agent market or trade. Just like I said, would have been nice, but I didn't see the Raiders letting him walk.
Yeah, that's a big piece to their defense. I mean, we could pull up his stats, but obviously now it's probably not even worth our time to pull it up. But the guy's been productive all throughout his career. Obviously, why they lock him down, and I think it was like a 4-year deal. So Crosby will probably retire in a Raider uniform. Rick, bouncing it off to you, brother. Your thoughts on the Crosby breaking news? The contract, was it an oversign? Is that the market that we're paying now for people like this? Myles Garrett, a possible free agent here, not free agent, but a possible trade candidate. Cleveland not really wanting to tweak that. But if that's the case, are we paying this for players of this stature now at that level? Rick, your thoughts?
I think if you don't have anything else to go on, you have to pay that price. Mm-hmm. The Raiders have no reason for Max Crosby to stay. They're not in contention. They don't have a quarterback. They have nothing to build on. So the only thing he could stay for is comfortability and money. Mm-hmm. So to me, I think they paid that price. And maybe, Tom Brady's now in the mix with the Raiders. So maybe behind the scenes, they're like, hey, we're going to get Aaron Rodgers. We're going to get Devontae or whatever. And they have a plan there. But to me, if he took that money, either they have a great plan that he likes or he wanted that money. So, I don't think the Falcons ever had a chance. And I hate to say it, but I just don't see the Falcons signing a big-time defensive end player like that. They've never done it in the history of our franchise, and I don't see it happening. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to get, like we always do, like some kind of second, or I hate to call him second or third tier pass rusher, but I think that's what we're going to end up with, like Ngaku or one of those other guys that we're trying to get over the past 3 to 5 years. That's where I see us being. I don't see us getting any more Myles Garrett, to be honest.
Solid tape from my guy Rick. Cody, the question bounces to you. You hear the contract. Obviously, Rick spitting facts about the money number, the fact that the Raiders have nothing to value for Crosby to stay his career there. The question goes to you. That price tag, obviously, Myles Garrett from Cleveland really not wanting to let go. Argument there back and forth with their agent with Cleveland as well. Myles Garrett has stated numerous times he wants out. There's actually an interview going around where a Falcon fan interviews Myles Garrett, and he's asking him, if you land anywhere, I think Atlanta's a great spot. And Garrett just kind of, smiles and shrugs his shoulder like, hey, it's an idea, but the Cleveland situation's holding him back. Cody, the leverage with Myles Garrett, well, enough with Crosby. Myles Garrett is now the topic. The leverage with Myles Garrett and the Atlanta Falcons, do they have anything they can put in that bag to make Cleveland say, hey, we'll release our number one player that we have on the whole squad? Because let's be honest, Myles Garrett is the best player for the Cleveland Browns. Also, they're releasing a guy that also puts up over 11 sacks a season. Since his rookie year is the only year that he did not do so. Myles Garrett is a game changer. We talked about it here on the podcast, how Myles Garrett, if you had a Myles Garrett on the defense's team this past year, maybe you do make that playoff push. Cody, the leverage for Myles Garrett, the price tag that it's going to cost, is it worth it? Do the Falcons have a chance in hell to land Myles Garrett in Atlanta? Take the stage.
Yeah, man, I think they absolutely have a chance to do it. I would say, because let's think about what the Browns need. The Browns obviously don't have a quarterback, or they've got a quarterback that enjoys massage parlors a little too much. And we've got a backup quarterback that doesn't want to be a quarterback right now. Now, is Kirk Cousins enough to get Myles Garrett into Atlanta? I don't think so. But again, that's where I think, my thing is Myles Garrett is a proven NFL pass rusher. If it costs you the 15th round pick, your first pick, 15th overall, and Kirk Cousins, yeah, absolutely. I mean, done. I'm done. Take Kyle Pitts with it. Kyle Pitts could go with him. Unfortunately, with some of the news I've seen, it doesn't sound like Kyle Pitts is going anywhere this year. But Yeah, man, I would say there's plenty of options for the Falcons now. Is the whole Cleveland not wanting to let go going to be an issue? Well, I guarantee you that Cleveland is going to rather have a guy that's going to show up and play, because Myles Garrett honestly could be in there and be like, "Hey, cool, you didn't trade me. Well, guess what? I'm not putting on shoulder pads. I'm not putting on a fucking helmet. I'm not cleating up. I'm not practicing." And he can do, he can hold out. And at that point, it kind of forces Cleveland's hand. To Rick's point, though, it's very true. It is very Falcon for us to go get that second tier non-elite rusher without outside the option of John Abraham, obviously. Right. So could I see Myles Garrett here in Atlanta? Absolutely. I think Atlanta's got a path to do it. I think Terry's going to work the cap. However, he's got to work the cap to get those free agents in, because one thing we can count Terry on Terry, it may not be draft night, other than the Bijan and Michael Penix thing. Terry gets free agents in here, good free agents in here. So I'm gonna let Terry cook on that. Hopefully he can get Myles Garrett in here. But
Cody, the mid-season trade that all Falcon fans were expecting before the trade deadline that day, I believe his name was Ojulari from the New York Giants.
Yep.
He is expected to hit the free agency waiver this offseason. Yeah. So maybe that is a guy, when we talk about this B-tier list players, maybe that is a guy that the Falcons pull the trigger on and say, hey, we may not can afford Myles Garrett, but we have a guy that we can bring in here that is somewhat a seasoned veteran in the league, has proven himself a year or two in the NFL.
Right.
So now you go and you build off of that Braylon Trice that you drafted last season that you didn't get to see. Hopefully that produces. You have a Zach Harrison on the defense as well that I think was badly underplayed in this Jimmy Lake defense. Now this is where it gets kind of tricky. Let's finish the around the league talk first, and then we'll dive into the defense part of the thing. But some more breaking news around the league today that, this week, not today. T. Higgins was another franchise tag in Cincinnati. We talked about him here on the podcast, how if he was a possible free agent, maybe that was who you brought in, being that Rondale Moore still has to be re-signed. Am I correct about that? Rondale Moore would still need to be re-signed to be here on this roster, correct?
Believe so. I think it
was a 1 year deal.
I think it was a 1 year deal.
So you still are potentially looking for that third receiver. I know you did draft the Casey Washington, but T. Higgins now officially franchise tagged. He went to Twitter about it, a little upset. Is this a problem where Cincinnati has to end up trading T. Higgins? Your thoughts on obviously receiver is not a hefty need, I would say, but if T. Higgins becomes a trade option, is that an option for the Atlanta Falcons if they do not have plans to sign to Rondale Moore?
Who is this, me?
Whoever, take the stage.
I'll take it. Here's the thing. I've heard that there's rumors saying we could possibly get a receiver in the draft, our first overall pick. I would rather take this guy, saying trade possibilities with T. Higgins. I would rather take a guy like T. Higgins that I know for a fact. Go ahead and take that part and get it out of the way. You trade for him. You get him. Say he comes to Atlanta. Then you do your little thing in the draft. Get what you want on defense. But here's the thing. But you know what he can do. We already have a Darnell Mooney. It's in the type of situation where he is right now in Cincinnati, where he's number 2. What would he be here in Atlanta? 2 or 3? Or is it just a type of situation where we're just all, who cares what you are? You know what I mean? But I feel like if it's a trade option, and I don't really see us doing it in a way, but say, I can't even think of the word, but say we
theoretically,
go for, yeah, that word. I'm a little slow tonight. But if we go for it, I'd say I'd rather do that.
So you're saying that the Falcons trade for T. Higgins, if it's a possible option and they talk about it, you're not mad about it. You're not mad with a T. Higgins move.
I'm not.
Robert, Rick, Cody, the T. Higgins situation, obviously, it's not the most appealing situation for Atlanta, but it is a possibility, and the DFU is going to talk about it because obviously, let's be for real right now. We look at the roster. You have Drake London, you have Darnell Mooney. You don't know if Rondale Moore is going to return because of the injury. You have Casey Washington. Help me out. Past that, help me out. What do you have?
Ray.
Ray.
And then Cardell Hodge.
Cardell Hodge.
Ooh, Red.
So So the question is, are you comfortable with going back into the season with just Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Ray McLeod, possibly Rondell Moore?
I'm
No.
just confident with Drake London.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I would agree with Rick. I'm going to say no.
If Kyle Pitts steps up, which is not going to happen, I would understand that. But I've said this last year. We are one injury away at wide receiver of having a major problem.
Being fucked. Yep, absolutely.
Major problem.
I'll agree to that because what was it? The Tampa game. I didn't know with Drake London going out. Oh hell, we're in a chance to win this game,
because you were in overtime.
I'm just like, oh man.
And
Kadarius Hodge just pulls it out of the bag.
And Kadarius and Ray are like supplemental players.
Right.
They're not going to be able to replace Drake London or Darnell.
Right.
And we have nobody, like maybe Casey Washington. I haven't seen enough to even comment on him. But so I wouldn't be mad about it. I would understand bolstering. Falcons do that a lot. They bolster their own strength, right? They're like, oh, let's get another wide receiver. But I think with our cap space and the situation we're in financially and what we need on defense, I just don't see it making long-term sense.
Yeah.
And T. Higgins, if he's not happy with $25 million on his franchise tag, then how much money?
Yeah, exactly.
So if we're going to do that, let's go get Myles Garrett.
Garrett, Cody.
Well, you know what the other interesting option is? DJ Metcalf is looking for a trade. What if DJ came to Atlanta?
That's different. I'll take DJ Metcalf.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
I would take DK any day.
How
to
about
come in here.
I would do it, but I don't want to embarrass Terrell.
Are we talking about Julio Jr.?
I'm talking about the play where DK Metcalf holds Terrell off like by one hand. Like that was so embarrassing.
We ain't gonna disrespect my dog because first time he came to Atlanta, my dog locked him down. I'm just putting that out there.
Man, DK Metcalf to Atlanta would be crazy. Robert, your thoughts? DK Metcalf to Atlanta, possibly wants a trade out of Seattle. What would that, if you in your mind, Robert? If you're a GM, what do you offer for a guy like DK Metcalf to come to Atlanta?
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts. That'd be interesting. But
let me ask you this real quick. But Kyle Pitts is on the table right now. All right, Kyle Pitts. Cody brought it up. Let's talk about it. Let's be for real. Kyle Pitts had the catch of the year at the end of the season against Washington.
Yeah,
we all agree on that.
So
what if? Just hear me out. Hear me out. There was a lot of bad play after the Saints game. Okay, that's when everything dwindled down. There was a lot of bad quarterback, and there was a lot of lob passes. There was a wide open Kyle Pitts touchdown pass that was thrown over for an interception.
Well, true.
I mean, you never quit on your team. That's the mentality you learn from middle school. So if Kyle Pitts was quitting, yeah, absolutely, that's bad. But what I'm saying is, with Michael Penix, could Kyle Pitts be back at that 1,000-yard season?
Or
that's the question.
Even with the healthy Kirk Cousins, he could. I feel like he could have, but I don't.
I listened to a podcast the other day. This guy said he writes down touchdowns per year for each player. He said, "Have you seen that, Rick?" At the beginning of the season, he was like, Kyle Pitts, 2 touchdowns for 100-something yards. Next game, 2 touchdowns, 80-something yards. 3 weeks, 0 touchdowns, 20 yards. And then he comes back, it's like 2 touchdowns. Kyle Pitts, the last remainder 3 weeks of that season, 0 catches. That 1 catch in the touchdown. So the inconsistency is the problem with Kyle Pitts. So can you finally get consistency and the Atlanta Falcons? Can you finally get consistency with Michael Penix and Kyle Pitts? Is that why that trade is not available? The Falcons haven't. Maybe they're still open into it. I'm not saying the Falcons aren't open into trading Kyle Pitts, but is there still hope for Kyle Pitts in Atlanta? Because from what I've been hearing from D-Led, from Terry in interviews, Terry always, to me, it seems like Terry always throws a hint. Like there's always a hint thrown when the Kirk Cousins situation was thrown. Like he told you kind of what kind of quarterback you were bringing to Atlanta, and then like with the Jesse Bates situation, when DeMarco Hellams goes down, Terry comes out and says, "It doesn't matter. We're going to go sign a top tier safety in Atlanta." Well, guess who they go sign? Justin Simmons. Now he's saying, we believe Kyle Pitts is going to give the Atlanta Falcons the best play to his ability, and the Atlanta Falcons are going to do the same exact situation for Kyle Pitts. So is Kyle Pitts staying in Atlanta, or is Kyle Pitts being traded? Let's keep it a buck. DFU, let me know in the chat. Cody, the question is yours. Rotate it around.
No, Kyle Pitts has to go, man. I'm sorry, but when you're playing the worst NFL team in the New York Giants, and you're quarterback is about to throw his first NFL touchdown pass to you and you fucking volleyball it to the defense, your time is up. I was officially done with Kyle Pitts before that, but when he goes, oh, I just work here. Well, guess what? You don't fucking work here no more. Get out, get out, get out, get out. I want somebody who's committed to this team. I don't care what Terry sees. I don't care. We've done the Kyle Pitts experiment thing with Kirk. We did it with Ritter. We did it with Mariota. The only one that got anything out of him was Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan's not here anymore. And as much as I like, Penix, Penix isn't Matt Ryan yet. So
that's true.
I am so done with the Kyle Pitts experiment, man.
Okay, let me ask you this. What if he is back in Atlanta next year?
If he's back in Atlanta next year, he fucking better produce. Otherwise, get the fuck out.
So if Kyle Pitts is brought back and he doesn't produce, then guess what? Terry's fired, correct?
Well, I don't know if he's fired because if we make it in the playoffs, so let's, if we get in the playoffs and go, deep, win the South, do all that stuff, I don't think Terry's fired, but the missed opportunity of trading a Kyle Pitts right now, and this is the thing though, is like, I don't know what other teams see in Kyle Pitts because because it's like you let him hit free agency and maybe somebody goes and picks him up. But right now, I just don't know, because if I'm another team, like, let me step back for a second. Say I'm a general manager for another team and I see what Kyle Pitts has done. I'm not interested. Yeah. And the Falcons shouldn't be either at this point. You've got a better backup tight end in Warner than you do in Kyle Pitts. Because, okay, cool. Kyle Pitts had that great catch that one time, but it's the same shit every year with this guy. It's like I was telling y'all, we start out in training camp. He looks great in training camp. He has great plays in training camp. He has one or two games that he's fantastic. And then he slopes, and then he slumps, and then he sucks. And then we go back to training camp and he makes great plays and we get excited and we get hyped up. We've done this for what, 4 years now? Like, at what
this
point
would be year 4.
Yeah. So at what point are you going, I've seen what I'm going to get out of Kyle Pitts. It's just
coming up week 5. Yeah.
I would say, so I'm done. I've seen what I needed to see. He needs to go. Well, we've got some value for him. And if that's a 3rd round pick, by all means, bye. I'm over that.
Falcon fans, hit that like button. Cody is through with Kyle Pitts in Atlanta. The experiment is over. Robert, we'll bounce that question to you because you were speaking on Kyle Pitts right before we brought that up. Robert, Kyle Pitts in Atlanta, is it because there isn't a trade that is even on the table? Is that why there's no trade rumor speculating? Maybe that's why they're making it seem like Kyle Pitts would stay in Atlanta, or is it just a thing where they don't quietly know what they want to do with Kyle Pitts? Robert, your thoughts?
I think it's the latter. I don't think they really know what to do with him right now, but I did see the interview with Michael Penix, and he seems like he wants him around. And it's like Cody said, I mean, Michael Penix is not Matt Ryan yet, and he may never be. But if this kid's going to be the future of the team, and if the GM is willing to listen to what he's got to say and kind of give him what he wants, I mean, it might not be a bad idea, but at the same time, like Cody says, I mean, it's the same circle every year with Kyle Pitts. He goes into training camp and we get all excited, and then all of a sudden just he falls off the face of the earth. He shows flashes a few times during the year, and then he does stupid crap like he did. That was going to be Penix's first touchdown pass, and he volleyballs it to the Giants defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when is it going to end? When is it going to freaking
end? Rick, that question goes to you, man. Kyle Pitts in Atlanta, is there a trade offer on the table, or is it just a thing where nobody wants Kyle Pitts and the Falcons may just have to let him hit free agency?
Well, I did see that the Patriots had some interest. I think if Bill Belichick was there to whip him into shape, that might be a good thing for him because I think he has, work ethic issue or something. I don't know. I don't want to judge a man's character, but something is definitely off with him. But I pulled up the money because I wanted to see, because I'm thinking, all right, if we don't have a replacement plan, we don't have draft picks, we don't want to spend it on free agency, we still need a tight end. When we look at the money, Kyle Pitts is about middle of the road when it comes to average per year at $8 million. So I'm thinking maybe they're like, fuck it, we need a body. Like, let's just keep
Right.
him. But
Right.
you know what is crazy though? But then I look at his fully guaranteed. This motherfucker's made so much money, dude. $32 million. He's made more guaranteed money than any tight end in the NFL.
Oh my god.
It's not even close. The next highest is
Crazy.
29 with Hawkinson. Mark Andrews
That's
at 30 million.
wild.
32 guaranteed. But his per year is 8.5. And again, he's right under Hunter Henry. And everyone else below him we wouldn't really want anyway, except for like Brock Bowers and some of the newer guys.
Right.
I think it's more of like, hey, 10 million, we need a tight end. Maybe we can make it happen. We don't have a great plan. Let's just make it through this year, and then we'll figure it out. I think that's what it is.
Absolutely. Facts coming at you live here at DFU from my guy Rick, Cody, Robert, and Philip here in the crew. Hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Falcon fans, we got a new topic coming at you right now here on the podcast. Breaking news, reports have came in that Drew Dalman's contract is expected to be around 20. We were expecting around a 10 mil. Now we're talking about a 20 mil with Drew Dalman. Reports say Falcons are getting ready to let Drew Dalman walk and let Ryan Nuzil handle the ropes. Philip, the question goes to you. Bounce it around. Drew Dalman possibly walking. Do you make that pay? Do you stay with Ryan Nuzil? Is this a process where you look for a guy to draft for the future? Or is the Falcons all in on Ryan Nuzil if Drew Dalman really wants 20 mil?
All right, so here we are. This
Chat
is how,
also get at it. Let me know in the chat. 1 for you, go for Drew Dalman. 2 for you, let Ryan Nuzil hold the ropes. Let me know in the chat. 1 for Dalman, 2 for Ryan Nuzil.
this is how I'm feeling right now. At that price, if that's truly what he wants is 20 mil, I'm letting him walk. I wouldn't settle for anything over at least 14 mil. And here's the thing. We've seen low snaps, botched snaps. It was against Washington. A really bad snap right there in goal line situation. Way the hell over Penix's head.
Bijan.
Bijan. Hell, even then.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing? You practice these plays and it's either low or either it's way too damn high. Come on, man.
Well, to me, the thing is, like, Drew
And-
Dalman is a really dominant run blocker, but his
But that's
passing coverage is not too great to be 20 mil.
And
I don't
here's-
think.
and this is how I'm feeling when Dalman went down against Tampa that Thursday night game. Nuzil came in and boom, he of course he had to get settled in because of course he just started playing. But here's the thing, from then on out, he looked pretty solid to me. I didn't have no problem.
Nuzil came in a lot of key situations this year and still played good football for you to win football games.
He played 8 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Pass protection was there. From what I've seen, when he was there was the least pressures on the quarterback than it was when we had Dalman. That's what I'm looking at. And this is a guy that does it right now that isn't asking for much money at the moment anyway. He's here for the team, So
He's also a free agent, Ryan Nuzil.
yeah, so I mean, he's not asking for much at all.
Right.
And he's doing just as good, or if not better, than what Drew Dalman has been doing.
Well,
And
Nuzil,
our center is protected by our 2 best linemen on each guards. So that kind of, to me, when I look at it, like if you're not Alex Mack and you're not directing the line and taking pressure off Pitts and off Penix and doing all those things, I can't see the 20 mil making much sense.
Absolutely.
So
Robert,
especially when they say we're going to move more towards a passing offense now with Penix and away from the run heavy, that kind of.
Good. We need that.
Robert, your thoughts?
Yeah, 20 million it's way too much. I mean, if the cap situation was better, maybe, but like I said, I mean, his pass protection's not been that great, and Nuzil has in a lot of ways outperformed him. It's and of course chemistry is important on the offensive line. I get that, but the cap situation, I don't see it being 20 million. There's no way that they can make this work. I don't think.
No.
I think he walks.
Cody, the question goes to you, and then I have another topic here, a big topic here for the offseason. Big decisions for Terry, but Cody, real quick, Drew Dalman possibly walking. Are you comfortable with Ryan Nuzil at your starting position center? Obviously, you still would want to get some, as you would say, some depth there at center because you're going to lose one of the centers. They're both free agents. You're going to possibly sign one of them. So you're definitely going to want to go get a backup, whether that be drafting maybe as Tony said in the comment section, Alec Lindstrom or maybe another center later on in the draft. Cody, are you comfortable with Ryan Nuzil starting at center with Michael Penix at quarterback?
I don't really notice much of a play dip off between Nuzil and Dahlman, but here I've got a better solution for you. So I was doing some research into this because I played center, so I was really interested.
Go ahead.
Josh Myers from the Green Bay Packers. Okay, Myers had a standout season 24 with a career low of 1.8% blown blocking percentage. He had just one holding penalty, 0 sacks. He's a better run blocker than he is a pass blocker, which is what Drew Dahlman is. And the best thing about this is his his salary was $5,580,000. So his average salary was about $1,395,000. That's very doable for the Atlanta Falcons in our, with our draft capital. So you got to figure this guy had a great year last year. It sounds like he would fit our scheme as far as he's a great run blocker. He may struggle a little bit in the pass, but that's okay because, to Rick's point, he's got the two guards on either side that really anchor that. So I figure if he's looking for a new deal, if you could pull Myers from Green Bay, maybe, 5 million, over the next 3-4 years, keep it, maybe even 6-7, give him a little bit more guaranteed money. That's an option there. I would say I watched a little bit of his play. He did look really good in the run game. I didn't see much, he does kind of fall off like it says in pass, but this guy just gave up 0 sacks all last year. Now I don't know what kind of talent Green Bay played last year. I don't know how great of pass rush he really faced at all, because we all know the Bears suck, but they played the Vikings twice and the Vikings defense was no joke and he didn't give up sacks against Minnesota. And that being a division rival for Green Bay, that's a big thing, man. So I feel like that's not a bad option. I also don't feel like you can go wrong with Nuzil. Like Tony said, I don't have a problem drafting, Alex Lindstrom's brother because, you get that brother rivalry going there and it's like, well, hey, you gave up this. And so, wake the fuck up, dude, like, what are you doing? We've all, got that male, what do you want to call it? That rivalry or that competition that fills you, especially if you got a brother or, somebody like that. So I could see that too. But I think, in my opinion, if you can't get, 20 million is too much for Drew Dahlman, go find you somebody cheap like that Green Bay may be losing.
Yep, absolutely. You look at Drew Dahlman, man, just to me over the year, it's been too inconsistent. There's been a lot of seasons where damn near the past 3 seasons, Drew Dahlman has had an injury where he's missed games. I wish I knew the exact stat on that, Drew Dahlman missing games, but he has missed games for sure the last 2 to 3 years. Even, I was talking about a backup center just a minute ago. We was talking about, Ryan Nuzil starting. A guy that the Falcons brought back last year that I kind of liked in the run game when he was drafted. They didn't give him much time because he did get injured himself. Matt Hennessy. He was a midseason pickup last season for depth. I think Matt Hennessy could be a good backup depth center here in Atlanta. He has familiarity with the team, the ownership. I think Hennessy could be a potential backup center for depth. Keep that in your back pocket. Watch for Matt Hennessy re-sign here in Atlanta. Was drafted here in Atlanta as well. So Matt Hennessy. The next topic I have here for you guys tonight, and this is going to be some may say a heartbreaker, some may not care. You have 2 guys here on the defense, and I don't know the exact number. Rick, Robert, Phillip, Cody, whoever has a chance to do so, let me get the numbers on what we save if the Atlanta Falcons cut David Onyemata and Grady Jarrett. Let me get that total value on those 2 players because this is a big, big savings when we talk about making pay cuts. Phillip, I don't think you were here for the last podcast. Cody was here. We talked about the Grady situation. Me and Cody shared our views on that situation. Check that last podcast. That was episode 134 on YouTube. Check that out. Be sure to do so. But Phillip, you save a lot of money if you cut one of these 2 guys. I don't know if they cut both. I'm saying if you cut one of these guys, you save a lot of money. Possibly being Onyemata, being Grady is that leadership role in the locker room. Who knows what it may be. But they did say Grady was not untouchable, but they also did say they're working on a restructure deal in Atlanta for Grady Jarrett. Philip, out of the two players, when Rick gets the number here for us,
I got you.
who do you cut? Rick, give me those savings real quick. What did the Atlanta Falcons save if they cut Anamata and then therefore the same for Grady Jarrett?
Anyamata, they save $8 million, and Jarrett is $16 million.
Here's the killer: $16 million. Listen to me, Falcon fans. Before we go crazy in the chat, listen to me. You save 16 mil, and you save a potential re-sign next season because it is a 1-year contract left here for Grady Jarrett. Falcon fans, let's keep it a buck as we do on DFU. Is it time for the Atlanta Falcons to pass the torch from Grady Jarrett to a potential big free agency signing with the 16 mil that you save here this offseason? Philip, the mic is yours, and then rotate it around, man, and then I'll close it off. But also keep in mind now. Also, if the Falcons re-sign Grady Jarrett, say they re-sign Grady Jarrett, it's still $6 million from David Anamata. So you're saving money either direction. Obviously, you save 16. You pretty much doubled what you saved from David Anamata. Rick, I don't mean to keep you busy tonight, but can you give me the stat line for David Anamata this season and Grady Jarrett this season? Philip, the stage is yours while Rick finds that info.
That's tough.
Talk about it. This is what the podcast is for, man. Talk about it.
So what's the question again?
Do you cut Grady for 16 mil, or do you cut David Anamata for 6? Rick's coming with the stat line. Philip, who do you cut?
I'm gonna be honest. I think I was here for that last one because
you was here. Because we got real. We got real on that podcast because we all love Grady.
Cody said that Grady is the glue to this defense, and I agree with him. I think I'm gonna cut David Onyemata. Then I'm gonna, here's the thing. I'm gonna cut for that thing, and then I'm gonna, reconstruct that contract.
Philip will never say get rid of Grady. Philip will never say that.
Just hear me out, bro. Get rid of Big O, bro. I'm with you, bro. You my dog. I'm gonna have to let you go, and then we're gonna have to reconstruct that Grady contract to get a little bit more in there, bro. See, you reconstructure it, then you get more money back.
But also, doesn't
and
that,
you get
now I could be wrong here. I'm not
defensive player.
I'm not good with numbers. I'm not good with NFL numbers anyway. If you restructure Grady's deal, doesn't it come to bite you in the end run, or is that because isn't that what bit when Matt Ryan they continued restructuring his deal, and then we had such a lump sum money at the end of that contract? Grady's restructured a couple times throughout his career, I believe.
Mm-hmm. It just depends on how you do it. The thing is, we had Thomas Dimitroff at that. He's
Thomas Dimitroff.
It was a fucking idiot. So, he didn't know how to reconstructure and do things the right way. The one thing I will say, yes, Terry was with the Saints, and, they're all fucking retarded over there. But, excuse me for that, YouTube. I'm sorry. they're all some type of people over there,
Swamp.
Yeah.
So Philip, real quick,
but
because
Terry
this can
knows
help
what
you.
He's doing because
Let me help you on your decision right here. Rick's about to hit you with some stats because stats are facts here at DFU. Rick,
you ain't changing my mind, bro.
David Anamata stat line versus Grady Jarrett this season.
Grady Jarrett definitely outplayed him. So total tackles, David had 45, Grady had 53. 23 solo for David. Grady had 30. Assists were the same, 22 and 23. Sacks was 3 and 2.5. But the stuff on the run, David had 7 and Grady had 12.5. So overall, obviously Grady had more impact. And I'll also say this: Grady is the number one concern of every offensive lineman when they play us.
Absolutely,
he gets double and triple teamed every single game. His leadership is unmatched. So unless you're going to get like a straight up dog that's coming in defensive tackle, that's an 8-year vet that we know is going to plug and play, I don't see how we get rid of Grady Jarrett. I don't. Omanyata, David was hurt last year. He's been hurt multiple times. I think it's time to give one of the young bucks an opportunity. And I think Zach Harrison and some of these other guys didn't get that playing time because of the older guys. But Grady, I think we need that leadership on the D-line. I don't think – we have leadership at every level. The D-line we don't, so I think we got to keep Grady.
Yeah. So, Robert,
And
that
I'm a
question
loyal-
will go to
I'm
you,
not gonna
Cody.
lie.
I already know how you feel about Grady. I know how Cody feels about Grady. But Rick brings up a good point. Philip does as well. Robert, your thoughts on Grady Jarrett staying here in Atlanta? Obviously, you hear the money difference, the 16, the 6 for Anamata. Robert, do you keep Grady? And then you make that restructure, or do you walk away from Grady and make the 16?
If it was up to me personally, you keep Grady. I mean, he's a fan favorite. You know, he's proven his worth. You know, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I mean, if we hold on and win Super Bowl 51, there's a good chance that Grady's the MVP of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a proven leader. He is the glue of that defensive line. And of course, you know, if you want to do business later on down the road, if Grady's willing to restructure his contract and free up a little more room this year, and then later on down the line, if Terry or whoever the GM is, you know, wants to do business, then if they want to trade him or cut him or what have you, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But as of right now, it's an obvious choice. You know, keep Grady here.
So we all can agree. Go ahead, Rick. Go ahead.
I was going to say Grady's just one of those players to me that, in my personal opinion, the Falcons owe him more than he owes us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He has over-delivered. He stuck with us through the losing, all of that stuff. It's his time to get this opportunity. And now his next contract, 3 to 4 years from, I just think it's a little too soon.
Right.
3 or 4 years, okay, let's have this conversation. But we owe Grady. We owe Grady a chance to get in the playoffs and do some things. So I think he gets to stick around.
Absolutely.
I agree.
All the different schemes Grady's been put through since 2016, man. Like, oh, Grady Jarrett, he's an OG, that's for sure.
Well,
Mama,
and
go
this,
ahead, Cody.
I was saying this is all saying because y'all know how I feel about the Grady Jarrett thing. Is $16 million worth the heart and soul of your defense? Because I don't think it is. I would find a way to keep Grady Jarrett here as long as you can, because that. You know, we like to talk about he is him and Grady Jarrett is him.
Yeah.
And whatever you got to do to keep Grady Jarrett happy in a Falcon uniform, you do it.
And every time you hear a broadcast, no matter who it is, they always say something about Grady. Like Grady's a dog.
Grady is Atlanta, dude. Like Grady lives it. That's Grady. Grady is the A, man.
Hey, so Grady Hospital. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. But we all can agree though. And we're about to pull up the free agency list of Falcons that could be a free agent this season. We all agree David Onamana is more likely cut for the $6 million, correct?
Yeah, $8 million. Yep.
$8 million for 8. So that's even better. $8 million for
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here, as Philip says. Mama Dunn in the chat with it. She says Grady is a beast, but the whole D line has to work as hard as him. One man can't hold the line. You're absolutely correct, and that starts with David Onamata being being overplayed by a guy that just came off of a season-ending injury the year before. So Grady Jarrett, still that dog, still has that mentality. As Cody said, he is the leader to this locker room. Grady Jarrett is that mentality. He is the Atlanta Falcons defense. And as Rick said and Robert said, the Atlanta Falcons owe it to Grady Jarrett to land and stay here in Atlanta. Real quick, we're going to go ahead, Cody. I'm going to pull up the free agency list.
To Rick's point, when you have an entire offensive plan based off of one player, that's huge, man. How many times, I know there are people who are like, well, Grady doesn't produce. He doesn't produce sacks. Well, that's also because Grady Jarrett commands the attention of 2 offensive linemen at all times, because we've seen what Grady does when you leave him one-on-one. And what does he do? He busts up your run play. He terrorizes your quarterback. Ask Tom Brady. Tom Brady fucking hates Grady.
I was about to say, I don't know how many times the past 2 or 3 seasons, or pretty much his entire career, though, that you've seen Grady just bust up by
absolutely.
He terrorized Tom Brady every time he played him.
Really, in general, if you watch our sacks, like, we're not the greatest defensive end, get off the edge, clear hit type of sacking team. The sacks come from the defensive pressure on the interior. They move out, and the defensive end kind of cleans it up. So really, our defensive tackles are the ones that are stirring up our sacks, in my opinion. Like, we don't have a defensive end who just wins their matchup.
Yep. Real quick, man, I'm going to pull up the free agency noticeable list. We're going to go through the list and just see who now that things have unfolded the way things have unfolded, money-wise, cap space-wise, what you save, what we know now as players, who's coming back to Atlanta as we think. We'll start at the top of the list. Matthew Judon, does he stay or does he go? Matthew Judon, real quick, yes or no?
I'm okay if he stays.
He
Give
can
him
stay
one more
with
year.
me.
Stay.
One more year. One more year.
I
Lorenzo
think he
Carter.
stays. No, Carter's gone.
Like
Gone.
Carter.
Who?
Get him out of here. Justin Simmons.
That one's iffy with me.
Depends
I give
on what we
him-
do in the draft. He probably stays.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll give him a
Yeah.
stay.
I did
Yeah,
see
stay.
a rumor. I did see a rumor where they said supposedly his agent released a statement saying Justin Simmons wanted to be in Atlanta, but they would more than likely have to test the waters and see what other teams offered. So that's just a rumor right now. Justin Simmons may be out of Atlanta. If that's the case, look for DeMarco Hellams to get back that number one role this
boy.
offseason. Richie Grant. Is he
He's
staying or
staying.
is
He's staying.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
out.
He's staying. Hell no, he's staying.
You think so, Philip? You think he's here? Richie
Hell
Grant?
no. Nah, being dead ass, I don't see him here. But
Mm.
you know, I like to ride for my dog, though. You know what I mean? I'm a real one.
Cody, Rick, Robert,
That's the homie.
Richie Grant?
I'll ride for him.
Richie's
I-
gone.
Yeah, I think Richie's gone. Sorry, Philip.
get him out of here. No more Richie.
Hey, don't be disrespecting Richie like that.
Rick, what you think, man? Richie Grant, is he out of here or is he
He's out
possibly here for a little longer?
Who's choosing? I think they let him stay, man. I thought he should have been gone 4 years ago. 3 years ago.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Damn.
For some reason, he hangs around in that
He
third
does.
spot. So I don't know.
Mike
Take
Hughes.
Richie Grant.
Mike Hughes possibly having one of the best careers of his season, and then he kind of followed off after the injury late
Big
term.
Mike.
Big Mike, is he out of here, Philip? Let me know.
Big Mike is gone. Big
Big
Mike,
Mike
is
is
gone.
gone.
Hey, I rock with you though, dog. I appreciate everything you did this season. But
He
you
did
don't-
lock down. He did lock down at times this year. He did.
Yeah.
Robert, Big Mike.
I hate to say it, but I think he's gone. Especially, when you figure that we're probably looking at a CB2 probably in the draft. So, yeah, I think Mike's
Or
gone.
Possibly big play Slay.
True.
Damn,
True. Yeah.
sounds good in the ATL. Sounds good, bro.
Cody, Big Mike.
He gone.
He gone.
He gone.
Rick.
The no hesitation.
Man, this is another one because I don't like our cornerback depth is not the greatest.
It's shallow. That's what I'm saying. Maybe Mike Hughes sticks
No.
around.
I think he stays.
He may be that.
I think
he
he's
may
so
be
I'm
that-
cool with it. Big Mike staying. I like it.
Consider we are changing defensive coordinators too, so they want as
Yep.
much.
That is
consistency as
true.
they can.
That is true.
I don't know.
I wonder. That's a good topic. I wonder what Clark Phillips' role will be this offseason. Like, what will his role be in this defense? Clark Phillips got some advantages last season. Got a couple of play times. He made an interception, if I'm mistaken.
I like.
He made a couple interceptions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like Clark Phillips with third. That was one of my. I compared him to Brent Grimes.
I like it. I mean, besides him having, like being good, I also, I'm biased because his last name is my name. So, of course, I got to rock with him.
So
Yeah. If you look at our cornerback depth chart, it's kind of scary.
It is.
It's not very strong. That's why I think your first overall pick, Malik Starks at 15.
No, I don't see
Malachi
Malachi
Starks. That's what I
Starks.
want. That's what I
I don't
want.
see
Philip
no
hates that
Malachi
pick.
Starks.
That's what I want.
Two of the guys on this list, D and Mike, were starting cornerbacks for us. So
Hey, but
Yeah.
hey,
D is going to be an interesting thing to me. I don't know why.
D.
But we'll
Alfred,
talk about that.
the Glow Man. D.
That one's going to be interesting because
I
Get him
think,
out of
it depends on what happens with Kevin King, man. Because Kevin King, at the end of the season, they liked him.
Yeah.
He
King
got
played
hurt,
for
and
the-
then
but also with the controversy though, with talking about Jimmy Lake and stuff, I want to see how that.
exactly.
Yeah, I want to see if that's what was bothering everybody. That's what I'm looking into.
Is
So-
D Alfred the one that's on Twitter, like kind of spilling some stuff?
Yeah, the Glow
Yep.
Man. That's what he goes by.
Yeah,
Glow Man.
he said something about Lake.
Yeah.
he kind of hit it at some stuff. So
Yeah, he threw some shade.
That
And,
he lost the locker room.
you know what?
Somebody
I want
commented
me to
something,
stay.
and he agrees pretty much.
Because D's giving us some information, I want him to stay.
Drew Dolman, we all gave our respect on that. Drew, if you come with a Falcon-friendly deal, you can stay in Atlanta, sir. But if you come with some bullshit, you're out of here. Condavia Street,
Bye.
out of here. You save a little bit of money with Street. You got to sign this guy, Cordell Hodge. You got to make that happen.
Yep. Stay.
If for anything, special teams, he's a
The
dog.
culture.
Yeah, two punt blocks, almost took one to the house on a punt return. Made the game-winning touchdown, the house call as they announced on the radio. Cordell Hodge is him. Avery Williams, guys, a guy that's kind of hung around here for, I would say, maybe quite too long. Avery Williams, does he stay or does he go?
I think he goes. I mean, what do we do with him? I mean, is he a running back? Is he a defensive back? I mean, he's played both, and he can't crack the lineup.
And then he was a kick returner for a little while. So I don't know.
Bye.
He started out as a special teams returner with the Falcons, right? And then he translated to a running back, and then he did like a little slot receiver thing. Then he went back to a punt return. So Avery Williams, Cody, Rick, did the Falcons save any money on an Avery Williams cut? I mean, is that even a thing, or is he just a guy that's kind of floating on the roster? 82 Monte Carlo in the chat with it. Our winner of the Apple AirPod Pros. Hey, Cody, has he got those yet? Monty, have you got those yet?
No, I got to get him to a man. I would say everything going on. I have not had a chance to even. I still got to go find stamps, dude.
I got you.
I got.
He
to get
says
that done.
D. Alford is gone. He's too small, is what Monte Carlo believes. D. Alford in Atlanta, possibly time up. So obviously D. Alford, we gave our thoughts on him. He could possibly stay. He could possibly go. Phillips said that position is interesting for him. Eddie Goldman.
We only save $1 million with cutting Avery, which $1 million's $1 million, but
yeah, you're gonna cut that guy probably for that one. Eddie Goldman. Do we? I mean, I think he's gone. I think
did he
Eddie
even
Goldman.
play? I don't know. I'm tired of hearing this bullshit. If he's coming back, he's retired. He's back. He's retired. I don't even care.
I think the guy on the bottom, Nate Lemon. I think he's probably out of here too.
Oh,
That's so tough.
I think
It is tough.
if you cut David Amyamata, you might want to take a flyer, keep Goldman if he's not going to retire.
Yeah.
But
So many directions, man. So many directions. Landman.
That 15th pick is going to determine if Landman stays.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you
The
get
win- the
Jaheim
win-
Campbell from Alabama, it is over with.
And Troy Anderson.
However you say it.
Where are
And
they?
Troy Anderson. Yeah, Anderson's got to
Do they
go.
think he can come back? Do they think he's not? Because
I'm just getting tired of Anderson building us up and then just every year an injury. Like, if that's what it's going to be from every year, like, it's time to let him go. Like, let's just call it a bust and let it walk.
when I just look at our depth, I swear to God, I don't see how we don't draft a linebacker. The more I look at it, the more I think about it.
You
Like,
have
our
not
team may not have
drafted a
defensive
good
edge.
linebacker since Deion Jones.
Right. We might not have an edge, but we have someone to play the position. We don't really have anybody to play linebacker if one of those other guys get hurt. So I'm kind of
At all.
ate up by running backs last year.
I don't even remember the guy's name. You had some, like, even in free agency when we were playing in preseason, that was one of my topics that we talked about here on the podcast about how the linebacker core was so weak in free agency. Like, there was no talent after the first team at all on that.
That one kid, Captain America, he played good. What's his name?
JD Bertrand, yeah, the draft pick.
He played good, but we still need another.
He started coming on there towards the end as well, and then he took that concussion. My bad with the F-bomb. He came with that concussion for like 3 weeks straight. JD Bertrand with the major concussion on his rookie season.
Claimed it was.
Then he came back with the Guardian cap. He finished the year off with the Guardian cap. So that concussion, I don't know if that may affect him in long-term situations because, I mean, if you remember Luke Kuechly, concussions were a recurring thing for linebackers continuously in the NFL.
So you got him with the concussion. You got Troy Anderson, only God knows. Landman fell off the map last year. I don't know what
fell off. Landman's never been a coverage guy either, and I think Jimmy Lake produced or used Nate Lemon the wrong way. I don't think Nate Lemon was used right, but even in like from the year prior, like with Dean Pease, like he was a star. Like everybody was saying, you got a guy like Nate Lemon, the guy from Africa. Like, who would have thought he was going to be the star linebacker in Atlanta that year? And then the year after, he just kind of falls off with the Jimmy Lake. So I'm not sure the situation with Nate Lemon. I don't even know if you save money with Nate Lemon, but you still have to go get depth. Whether you keep Nate Lemon or you release Nate Lemon, linebacker is a spot that needs attention this offseason. I don't care if it's 900,000, not even a mil. So Nate Lemon may be safe in Atlanta.
We need that depth. Yeah, just go in when we need you.
So, that's your free agency list. That is your breaking news. Any other news that I'm missing here, I'll have to go through group chat and see. But Philip,
Darius Slay, can we talk about
Darius Slay? He has been released from the Philadelphia Eagles. Another potential target the Falcons could see. And here in Atlanta, he is back in his hometown. Breaking news: did get put over for the speeding ticket, locked up. So, who knows if Darius Slay is a potential target here for the Atlanta Falcons? Philip, Rick, Cody, this will be our closing out statement for tonight, or our closing out topic. So, Darius Slay, is it a possibility? Robert, do you like the pickup, or do you say no to Darius Slay?
I like it. It wouldn't break my heart to see him in Atlanta.
I heard that.
Yeah, right now, we need all the upgrades we can get on that side of the ball. You know?
Cody?
So,
Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
No, I was just saying, if it's not too harsh against the cap, and if he's willing to come here, by all means, bring him in.
Yeah, no, I agree with Robert. I don't hate it. I would say just keep him away from the UGA players.
Yep.
Rick, your thoughts on Darius Slay possibly landing here in Atlanta? Chat, Philip is probably out for tonight. It is bad weather over this way, and he is also, rumor has it, Philip's out there on the barn getting a limb off the Wi-Fi box, so I'm not sure if he'll be back tonight, but shout out to Philip. Rick, Darius Slay, does he stay in Atlanta or is he out of here?
I would love for him to come.
Or does he come to Atlanta?
I think that frees up our draft picks and some other things. And I'm expecting Terry, last year, our free agency was one of the best free agencies we've had in a while, in my opinion. Yep. And I think they need to do that again. And there's going to be some big name, big signing. And if he comes in, then I think that helps us in our draft to stay more on the front seven. And also, I think that helps us with Alfred and those other guys. So I think I think it would be great. I'd like to have him.
Absolutely. Chat, we have some announcements to make here for you from DFU. We have another special giveaway thanks to another awesome co-host here on DFU. My guy Robert has officially entered another giveaway here from DFU. Last time it was AirPods from our guy Cody. This time it is a throwback done away jersey 28. This will be a shelf life jersey. We'll put it in a case for you. I'll send Robert a case. Robert will case it up and send it out however you want us to do it, or you can have it just like this in a package. Done will be a giveaway. We still don't quite know what that entry will be for. Robert, Cody, Rick, if you come up with an idea, let me know in the chat. But that will be the next giveaway here for DFU, the Wart Done jersey from our guy Robert. So shout out to Robert for doing that here on the podcast. I don't really know how we can do a giveaway for that. So we'll talk about it, and we'll get with y'all here on the next podcast. If everything plans out the correct way, Friday night we will have a special guest, Scott Karisic. He is a blogger for the Atlanta Falcons. He will be here talking numbers with DFU as far as free agency numbers, how much room the Falcons could clear up cap space, what could the Falcons offseason potentially look like number-wise here with DFU. Scott Karisic over on Twitter. Check him out. Potential special guest here for DFU Friday night at 8:30. Scott Karisic. Be looking forward to that. If that is possible, we got a banger coming at you. Josh Gilman is here in the chat. What he said, I think we free up some space and re-sign most of our free agents. Who knows? Like I said, there's so many options this free agency could go because you don't have many draft spots. You don't have many draft picks. So who knows what Terry does to get draft compensation, maybe save some money. Who knows? So many different routes for it to go. that'll be another topic for another show. We are reaching our 1 hour mark here on the podcast. So with that being said, we will give you our official shout outs for tonight, starting with my guy, Robert, in the top hand corner. Robert, shout outs for tonight, brother. Glad to have you here for episode 135, Falcons Offseason Talk.
Glad to be here. Shout out to you guys for letting me be a part of the best Falcon podcast in the world. Shout out to our viewers and our subscribers. Without you guys, this isn't possible, and we do it for you. We always try to bring the best content possible. Shout out to the Falcons themselves, man. The team is the reason we do this. I mean, just they break our hearts sometimes, but we're loyal. And as always, shout out to God in heaven. Shout out to my family, Brianna, Peyton, Zach, and Christy. I love y'all. And as always, rise up.
Rise up, Mr. Robert. Cody, shout outs for tonight, brother.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you guys coming on and doing this. Let's say it's no better way to spend a birthday than talking Dirty Bird football, man. Let's say I love this. Listen to me, Terry. Look at me right here, Terry. You keep Grady Jarrett in Atlanta at all costs. You keep that man here at all costs. Other than that, guys, it's been a great show. Say shout out to everybody liking, commenting, doing all that stuff. Without the viewers, man, I would say we're just four or five guys talking about Dirty Bird football, which is always a great thing, but it's always great to have an audience too, man. But shout out to you guys, shout out to the listeners, shout out to the Falcons. I would say is without them, we don't have a show at all. We'd be talking about God knows what, but thank God it's Falcon football. Shout out to the wife out there listening. I would say, can't wait to go spend a little bit of birthday time with her. I would say,
there you go.
Yeah. I'm excited.
My dog got plans for the night.
Oh, yeah, we got plans. So shout out to her. I would say we're not going to be much sleeping tonight. But, other than that, guys, shout out to y'all, fans, everybody, guys, rise up.
Rise up. Mr. Rick, shout outs for tonight, brother. Cody, pleasure to have you.
I don't even know how to follow that one up. Shit. I'm going to say shout out to Falcons on Twitter, man. All the Falcons fans on Twitter. I think that's where I get my most conversation with Glowman and all these other guys, ATL Will. I know there's a bunch of other guys out there that are always posting and talking about the Falcons and doing I've seen some Michael Penix breakdowns lately that have been really in-depth. So, I really appreciate those guys during the offseason. Give me something to watch, something to look at, something to talk about, and keeping us involved through the offseason. So we appreciate all you guys.
Rick, speaking on that, anytime that you have the chance to reach out one of those guys, they are more than welcome as a special guest on the podcast. So feel free to do that. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, for sure. We'll start doing that. And then I got some giveaway stuff we talked about earlier, so we'll start bringing some of that stuff out. I want to get a little bit closer to the season.
Yes,
and
sir.
Then, shout out any free agents like Myles Garrett if they want to come to Atlanta. Pepper hot wings on me.
Absolutely. Falcon fans, stay tuned to the directions to be entered for the free raffle of the Work Done jersey, courtesy of our guy, our co-host, Robert here from DFU. Falcon fans, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you're viewing this after the live podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment so we can talk in what we call the fifth quarter here at DFU. Leave a comment. We'll be sure to get back to you in the comment section. May take a day or so, but we're always sure to comment back. Falcon fans, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe. Shout out to you, Cody, Robert, Rick, my other co-host, Philip, that was not able to make it here for the shout-outs tonight. Shout out to the live chat that is doing their thing, as always, man. We appreciate you guys in the comment section. You really keep this podcast rolling because not only do you guys interact with our topics, but you even bring topics to the podcast that you don't even know about. So shout out to everybody in the chat section. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Everybody that's rode with DFU for this year and a half here on the channel. We're at 400 and like, I don't know, 87, something like that. We're trying to reach 500, damn it. Get us to 500. Hit that subscribe button. The ultimate goal is 1K here for DFU, man. Once again, shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Atlanta Falcons. Shout out to the wife in the other room watching the babies. And shout out to the good man upstairs, man. As always, it's been a pleasure to bring you your Atlanta Falcon content. As we say, Falcons Offense Talk, episode 135 is now in the books. It's your boys from DFU, man. A-Town down. Rise up. We out of here.